Tank was apparently going to call out Jake Paul after his win over Lamont Roach, but that victory didn't end up coming into fruition, and a rematch between Tank and Roach is bound to happen in 2025. Roach shocked everyone that night when he outboxed Tank and got robbed on the scorecards. I wouldn't call Tank the boogeyman of the lightweight/welterweight divisions, because he simply has no interest in fighting the big names in the weight class. But up until that fight, everyone thought that Tank would easily beat the likes of Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos, of course Ryan Garcia, etc. His skills were unmatched, and the power that he possessed at lightweight would pose anyone problems. However, Roach derailed the Tank Davis hype train and deflated his career. Now, I still think that Tank could beat Devin Haney, Lomachenko, all of the top lightweight guys, but however this rematch with Roach goes, I see Tank retiring after. Tank was already 1 foot out the door in the sport before this fight, but after the draw and the ongoing controversy with him taking the knee, I can see him beating Roach in the rematch and then peacing out. He truly never gave a fuck about what the fans thought regarding who he should fight and his overall legacy in boxing. Tank sought after the biggest paydays, fighting opponents who gave him the least possible resistance. And I totally could picture him retiring at the ripe age of 30 years old. It sucks, man, because Tank has all the skills, natural talents, and power to be undisputed in at least 2 different weight classes right now. He's in his prime, right now, and it's just annoying to see such wasted potential. I know that he probably doesn't see it that way. He probably just wants to live life with his bank account full and his health intact. And I truly don't blame him for that. If I was a professional prize fighting boxer, I'd probably do the same and fight for 8 figures against mediocre opposition. I disagree with the online sentiment that Tank was never that good, which always fucking happens when a boxer loses or has a weird draw in Tank's case. I think in terms of raw ability, he's the best in the lighter weight classes. How do I explain Roach essentially beating Gervonta Davis though? I believe there's a combination of things at play, and it has nothing to do with his actual skill sets. First off, Tank has said that after 2025, he was most likely done with the sport, so he already set himself an expiration date. Like I said earlier, he's 1 foot out the door, and that must have played a factor in the back of his mind when training for the Roach fight. Also, Tank fighting a lack of extremely high caliber opponents probably made him complacent, and I truly believe he underestimated Roach coming in. I'm not saying Roach is a bad fighter or he truly didn't beat Tank. He absolutely did, and he had a terrific performance that I don't want to take away from. But Tank underestimating Roach and Roach outboxing Tank aren't mutually exclusive. Both things could have easily been the case. On top of that, Tank had his eyes set on a potential Jake Paul matchup from what has been said, and with his mind looking towards the future like that, there's no doubt in my mind at least that he overlooked Roach. That being said, Tank's notorious low punch output caught up with him in that fight, as Roach found it easy to capitalize on it as the fight went on. Tank got more and more frustrated and was missing a bunch, and Roach looked like he had his fucking number in that ring. Roach did fantastic that night, and I do want to commend him for making Tank look fucking stupid. For not going up in competition, for not chasing more belts when he's in his fucking prime no less. Where does Tank go from here? Well, he might beat Roach in a rematch and then retire. I think that's the most likely turn of events. That Jake Paul fight is dead in the water at this point, as it should be. I think the whole Jake Paul gravy train reached its conclusion after the Mike Tyson fight. After that fight, I doubt anybody wants to fucking see Jake in a boxing ring again unless he's fighting truly active, age-appropriate, cruiserweight boxers. That's a video for another time, but as for Tank, if he doesn't want to fight the best, and if he basically got beat by a B+ tier fighter, no offense to Roach, then there's not really many fights he can make. If he's 1 foot out the door already, then just fucking retire so that somebody else can claim the belts and unify the division. That sucks to say because Tank is an incredible fighter, but if he truly doesn't want to fight the best, it's like, what's the point? We've watched him beat mediocre opposition competition just for him to top up his bank account in the hopes that he potentially fights a Loma or Devin Haney one day. It's like, dude, I'm getting on in age. I want to watch the best fight the best in the sports I love. What do you think about Tank's future in the sports? Let me know, and I'll catch you down the road.